He witnessed the Filipinas' golden performance in Cambodia, where our women's national football team booked their third straight ticket to the AFC Women's Asia Cup 2026. In dominant fashion, now what can we expect from the team next? Let's hear it from analyst Claro Manzano. Claro, welcome to the Scorecard. First of all, I appreciate you making time. I know you're celebrating your birthday today at home, but you've taken the moment to speak with us here to talk about this campaign. Welcome aboard on the Scorecard.
Good evening, Jane. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, looking forward to talking about things and sharing my experience in Cambodia.
Okay, you made the trip over to Cambodia. What compelled you to make that trip, and what was that experience like for you?
So I've been commentating pretty much for the past 6 years, and then when I'm off duty, I got this idea with some friends. Why not cover also, pretty much as a reporter or a journalist? So it's a passion project of mine. And when this opportunity presented itself, like, hey, perfect. So Cambodia is a host country for the qualifiers of the Women's Asian Cup, just a 3-hour flight away. So I thought about making the trip. And that is actually the first overseas trip for myself and my page when it comes to covering games. Yeah.
Incredible passion as always, Clara. What was that experience like for you? Both covering it, and I'm sure you went there, part of you being a fan as well.
Yeah, for sure. So covering, of course, with all of the experience covering international games, I wasn't exactly lost. I knew how some things would work here and there, and just being there, of course, there was a Filipino community out there, so I got to somewhat help bridge them also. But me being there as media, of course, and be objective, wasn't really cheering. I'm there to work. But when I'd see Pinoy fans, I'd tell them where the others are sitting in the grandstand just to help them stay all together, bring up that noise, make it feel like a home game for the Filipinas. But given that it's an away game, nothing just beats playing at home. So I just thought about, with my interviews, of course, I'm bridging the players to the fans and the fans to the players. So hopefully I just got to add that extra dimension, of course, to the women's national team here in particular.
Always great. Filipinos always well represented everywhere we go in the world. But we won 3 games, we scored 10 goals and conceded none. Was the performance as dominant as the numbers suggest, Claro?
You look at the numbers, but surprisingly, I'm going to say no. The expectations are much higher already. The Filipinas played in a World Cup, and in the build-up to that World Cup, which was 2 years ago, we got to see dominant score lines. So we want to see and have to see score lines like that against lower-ranked teams, just to be objective. Because if you're able to put up score lines like that, that shows that you really are a World Cup team. Because you look at the score lines of the other Asian, or you look at the Asian powerhouses, you want to be there. They were winning 7-0, 8-0. So we're hoping to see better, but you still got to give kudos to Coach Mark and his team, because 0 goals conceded, that's still quite a feat, and putting in 10.
So there's work to be done here for the Filipinas. But what were the highlights for you, and which players stood out in this campaign?
Well, for the highlights, in particular, it was Alexa Pino who stood out. So she just came from like the youth ranks, just bagged her 3rd cap onwards in this tournament, and she was just a live wire on the wings, connecting already with our established players whom we expect to perform already, the likes of Chandra McDaniel, Meryl Serrano, you named them. So Alexa Pino was not just creating but also scoring. So quite exciting moving forward.
Bella Pasion was also a young player, 18 years of age, started all the matches. So it seems there's a new young generation that's being brought through at the moment. Does that excite you?
Well, it definitely does, because unfortunately we cannot expect the 2023 roster or members of that roster to be there forever. So you really need to groom them. And yes, Bella Pasion did stand out. You could argue she played 90 minutes in all 3 games. She only got subbed in the last game actually versus Hong Kong, but that was in added time already. So she was the one pulling the strings. She was no sub of Jackie Savitsky and then put in Sarah Egesvik, but Pasion was there to really pull the strings.
Amazing. So a lot of talent to look forward to. And the Filipinas are going to be quite busy. Coming up next month, there's going to be the AFF Championship, which is now called the Serenity Cup. And then, of course, there's the SEA Games later on in the year. What can football fans look forward to? And what are some things that need to be addressed ahead of that, ahead of these tournaments?
So I think something we could address, of course, we'd like to see more goals. I want to see the team control the game even more. I'm not just talking about possession, but holding tempo of the game and not giving it to our opponents, because you got to credit the three teams the Filipinas played against in Cambodia, Hong Kong, and Saudi Arabia. So they were able to take the fight to the girls. So I hope they're able to address these chinks in the armor, and moving forward, hopefully the team just goes up. And with the upcoming Serenity Cup, so Coach Mark did say after the last game versus Hong Kong for the qualifiers of the Women's Asian Cup that the World Cup players, or not all of them, will be available, because I believe it's not a FIFA window,
right,
where teams are pretty much, you could say, they promote that the teams release the players. So there will be a new opportunity for some fresh blood also, just to make sure the pool gets a little deep, the girls get more experienced. So I don't say manage expectations, but let these new girls who will come in also integrate into the system. But the stakes are high because, after all, the Philippines are the defending champions in that tournament. So yeah, that's what we want to see. And hopefully the team gets the best moving forward.
All right, fantastic having you on, Claro. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here on the Scorecard, and I look forward to hopefully speaking with you again soon.
Thank you, Jing. My pleasure.